Hey everybody, my name is Noella and I'm the founder of Propel to Digital Freedom and Well Curated Creative Agency. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about pricing. So you've decided to launch your virtual assistant business and you're ready to start making money from home. But how do you price yourself? If this is a new business for you, chances are you don't know where to start with pricing. If you price yourself too high, you're worried you're not going to get any clients. But if you price yourself too low, you run the risk of maybe not meeting ends meet. The struggle is real and it's really easy to get stuck on this. There are a few different ways that you can price yourself as a virtual assistant. None of them are wrong, and often it takes trying a few different ways to see what works for you. Trust me, I've done them all and made many changes along the way to my pricing structure. So you may need to just try a few of them out, see what works for you in your business, and make changes accordingly. So one of the ways is straight up hourly. This is the method that I suggest everybody starts with. It's really easy, and when you're starting your business, there's enough hard things for you to get stuck on. So pricing shouldn't be one of them. When I was first starting out as a VA, I had a mentor who asked me what I was charging. At the time, I was just thrilled that I could work from home and without having to leave my house. So I was super excited to tell her $13 to $15 an hour. Well, let me just say she shut me down really dang quick. She told me that at that rate, I would barely be able to cover the cost of running my business, let alone make a profit. It was easy for me to make that mistake because I didn't know how much expenses I would have when I was just launching my business. I didn't realize all the programs that I would need to invest in and the taxes that I would need to pay. I didn't have a clue what running a business was all about. So it was very easy for me to look at $13 an hour and think that I was set. 13 an hour sounded great. If I was an employee with no expenses, there were a billion other things that I needed to consider that I didn't even know about. So I decided to say $25 an hour, the most money I had ever made in my career. Never mind one that allowed me to forego getting dressed in the morning. So I was making that for about 6 months or so of my business, but it didn't take long for me to realize that I would need to raise my hourly rate in order to make a salary to cover my cost of living and cost of doing business. The more that I grew as a company, I needed to take on different programs and I eventually would need to hire team members. These were all expenses. My advice to you is to do a cost of analysis business. Figure out how much it'll take every month in your business and write down all the expenses and even look into the future. Are there programs that you want to learn or services that you're going to want to offer? Do you need to pay for professional emails, Adobe, Canva Pro? Write everything down and figure out how much you need to make and how many hours you're going to need to work to cover your expenses and your cost of living, which is different in every country, by the way. So keep in mind that as a business owner, you're going to need to pay your own income tax. So it's very smart for you to set aside 20 to 30% of your income for year-end taxes right from the very beginning of running your company. I loved and still love charging hourly because it's forced me to track my time by the second. I was able to determine exactly how long it took me to do certain tasks, and without that precious time tracking, I would never have been able to start pricing myself differently because I wouldn't know how to properly estimate my time. If I jumped right into packages, for example, and sent out a proposal for blogging at $50 per blog post, but then I found out it takes me 6 hours to write a blog post, I just seriously underestimated everything and worked for less than $10 an hour. So the second way you can charge is retainers, and this is currently how I charge for my services within the company. Retainers are a flat rate amount that you bill your client every week, bi-weekly, or monthly, however you want to do it. But it makes budgeting both financially and time-wise so much easier for your business and personally. You know exactly how much you will be making every month. And in the beginning, I had no idea how much money was coming in from day to day. And I had no idea how much work I would be doing day to day. I would have clients that would send me 1,000 hours of work in a week, and then the next week, 10 hours. Everything was so inconsistent all over the place, and it was very overwhelming for me. With retainers, my clients get billed the same amount every month, no matter what I do. If I am waiting around for my client to get me work, I'm still able to invoice them. This alone encourages my clients to be consistent with their communication and always outsourcing and delegating to me. Retainers mean that they're paying to hold their spot on my client roster. I know exactly how many clients I could take every month with retainers. When coming up with my retainer packages, I'll still use my hourly rate as a base. For example, if I estimate that a client will need me for about 20 hours per month, I will take my hourly rate, say $50, multiply that by 20 hours, and I now know that I need to charge my client $1,000 every month. I tell them that for that amount, they're going to get me for a maximum of 20 hours of my time, and if they don't use up all their time, oh well. They were paying to hold their spot within my company for 20 hours, so they have to send me 20 hours or otherwise they're paying for nothing. So the third way is packages. This is what we all strive for, the perfectly curated package that allows you to make more money as you get faster and more experience. So let's say you started charging hourly at the very beginning. You've tracked your time and you can confidently say that it takes you 2 to 4 hours to write a blog post. You want to make a minimum of $30 an hour, and so it takes you 2 to 4 hours to write that blog post. You're going to want to create a package that is anywhere between $60 and $120. In this case, I would charge $100 for this package. As I got faster and faster, the profit margin increases. If at one point it only took me an hour to write that blog post, I just made myself $100 for that hour of work. So you see, you get paid for your experience rather than your time. And it removes the need to track your time every single second and allows you to make more money the better and quicker you get. If you decide that you want to start with a package, I still encourage you to track your time so that you have a better grip on how long it's taking you to do certain projects. To sum things up, I encourage you to start by charging hourly because this is going to build trust with your client. They're going to know exactly what they're getting out of you, but it also forces you to get into that very precious time tracking habit. Once you're comfortable with tracking your time, you can see if you can notice certain patterns within your business and the amount of time it takes you to complete certain projects. Perhaps some of them can be turned into packages. Does it take you 10 hours on average to plan a whole month's worth of social media content? Create a package for social media that allows you to make a good profit margin considering it takes you 10 hours a month. If you know it takes you 10 hours and you want or need to make a minimum of $30 an hour, price your package at around $500 so that you can have a good profit, cover all your expenses. When I was running Well Curated, my virtual assistant agency, I would have retainers for certain things like admin care, and I would outline exactly what admin care would mean. I would have packages for other things such as social media management, branding, website design. If I couldn't fit what my client needed into any of those packages such as admin or branding or web, I would have a flat hourly rate for everything else that I would charge on top of and beyond what their package was. So I hope that helps you. Again, start out hourly. It really is great to get you into that habit for tracking your time, figuring out how long it takes you to do certain things, and then move to retainer and package. Do a combination of all three, whatever works for you. I hope that is super helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. Visit my website, propeltodigitalfreedom.com. I hope everybody has a great day.